I'm Ken Visocky. I'm an associate professor at Kent State University, and I'm the principal of a small company called Nspace, and my wife and I have co-authored 3 books together. I think that, with the work that I do and the kinds of things that I'm engaged in, I just want to be a part of the dialogue. I want to be somebody who is seen as having a clear and consistent voice, and I just want to be a part of a broad conversation about what's happening in our industry. My design education, I think, kind of meandered around a little bit. In high school, I was really interested in fine art and applied art, and I took architectural drawing classes and mechanical drawing classes. I was signed up and accepted into Kent State's design program, and at the last minute changed my mind, and I became, I was a psychology major, and I was 4 quarters away from graduating with an undergraduate degree in psychology, and somewhere along the line decided that I had made a mistake and really wanted to go back to school and study design. And I went back to design school in my early 20s. I think somewhere along the line I always knew that I wanted to be a designer. I don't really know what that meant, but I was always kind of interested in the cross-section between behavior and science and engineering and art, and design seems to be at that crossroads. I don't know if there was an aha moment for knowing I was a designer. I think that I think about problem solving like a designer now, but I don't know if there was like an awakening where I said, I know I'm a designer now. I think it's an evolutionary process, and I think that, for any evolutionary process, you don't know when that tipping point happens. I just think that one day you wake up and realize you're there, or at least I felt that way. It's going to sound like a corny answer, but I'm a college professor, and I feel like my students are my biggest inspiration. John Maida said that his job as an educator was to walk into the classroom every day and show all of his students every trick he knew. And so he had to go home at the end of the day and learn more tricks. And I think that that is a really good definition of being a faculty member, and that, my job is to show them everything I know. And that means that I have to go home at the end of the day and learn more stuff to bring into the classroom. And so it keeps me challenged and pushes me. I don't think you could ever stop being a designer. I think it's just how you're hardwired. I think that the designers that stop designing are still applying what they know about design or about design process to new forms or new contexts. But I think that once you start thinking this way, you never stop. I think that design is, I'm going to quote Charles Eames, it's a method of action. I think that when we see things that we want changed, or we see things that could be, whether that's a big thing or a small little incremental thing, I just think that it's just a part of who we are. I think that I want to make things better in big and small ways, and I think the design is the vehicle in which I can do that. I'm going to go back to Charles Eames and say design is a method of action. I think that is the best definition of design I've ever heard. I get a lot of inspiration. I read a lot of terrible pulp fiction. I get inspiration from my relationships with other designers. I get a lot of inspiration from my relationship with friends and family. I don't think that design is something that you can turn off. I think it's something that you're always thinking about in one way or another. It's a way of solving a problem, in that it never goes away. And so, I can be working on something totally unrelated, or I could be on a bike ride, or, be with my daughter somewhere, and then all of a sudden an idea hits, and then I have to write it down. Like, I carry notebooks with me, or I jot notes down in my phone, or I use an app called Simple Mind, where I have all these mind maps on my phone that I'm just constantly adding to, but I don't think that it ever goes away. I think the design has impacted my life in a lot of ways. I've built my career on it. I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for design. I think with the relationships that I've made in professional organizations and relationships I've made with students and all the opportunities that I've had in my life, I think started in design school.